A Dodge Caravan here. Actually, this is a Town and Country, same thing. It's got the 3.8 liter with the 62 TE transmission. If you guys need to know how to replace the valve body on one of these, this video is going to show you how. But what we're doing here is we're going to replace the compounder, which once I find the picture of the codes that I pulled out of this thing, I'll include it in the video. This van had all forward gears, but really weak reverse. And when it heated up, had no reverse at all. There's an exhaust crossover that comes through here. You have to take it off. Just take all the pans off. The bottom one, side cover and front cover. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna remove this Torx bolt, which is going to the neutral safety switch. We're gonna remove this one piece right here, and I'll show you the next step in just a minute. You guys will have to bear with me here. I'm doing the best I can with lighting. I'm trying to record this and pull it all apart at the same time. Go ahead and pull this out of here. Kind of get a reference of how it goes. You'll see when you take yours apart. Go ahead and remove this. Kind of slides in there. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through here and remove every single one of these bolts. I believe the one that there's a few we're not going to remove. You do not want to remove them. And I want to say it's the Torx bolts. One right here, you don't remove that one, I know that. But all these other ones, so I think these are 8mm, you're gonna remove all these all the way around the entire valve body. Just don't remove the Torx. We'll find out here in just a second. You also need to remove this connector here on the neutral safety switch. And the reason we disconnected this is because you're gonna wanna slide this neutral safety switch to the side because there's a bolt right behind it. That's the only way to get to it, is to take that piece off that I just did and move this over. It won't go anywhere because it's stuck on here, so you don't have to worry about that. Be very careful when working with this stuff though, because it can easily break. Take your pick. So this is where things start to get tricky. As you can see, what we need to do here is this valve body is loose. It's sitting here loose. And what we need to do is we actually need to separate the valve body from 3 pipes. You can see there's 3 pipes that go down in here, 1, 2, and 3, and they go into the compounder. What we need to do is we need to separate this valve body from the transmission while simultaneously holding these pipes back so they don't come out with the almost said throttle body, with the valve body. So I can't do this on camera. It's going to take a little bit of work. We're going to work this thing out of here easily, or slowly, I should say. All right, so this is where things get really difficult. I had a huge problem here. I used a pair of pliers and something to pry with to pull this pipe out of here. And as you can see, you have the pipe that comes through here. There's 3 of them, and they go into the valve body. So take this filter off if you really want to get some more room, but come in here and just put a light amount of pressure right on that pipe. We'll come up here with your screwdriver or whatever you want to pry with, and very carefully put it right in between here and just sort of pry on it a little bit. Pry just ever so lightly, and these 3 pipes will pop out of the valve body, as you can see there. So let's go ahead and drop that down now. All right, I'm gonna lift up. Okay, valve body's off. Oh. I gotta set the phone down, but it comes apart. We're gonna slide it down. All right, let's go right ahead and pull the pipes out. I believe that they should all, let's say, pull one by one and they all come out of there. You just take a look down here, see what we're working with. So there's a piece of rubber right there. Let's see if we can pull these out without losing that rubber piece, maybe. First time doing this, if I haven't said that already, guys. So you're learning along with me. The next thing we're gonna have to do is take this little plastic piece off of here, and as you can see, there's a little tab, and it presses in. I took a pick, it sits in here like so. I took a pick and I just worked it in there, and pushed that tab down, pulled straight out. The thing came out. So day 2, we're back at it. I have the socket and what I was telling you guys about with the adapter piece that you're gonna need. This is what I was talking about. Now you can get this through AutoZone. I think that's the part number to it right there, 53-310. And you can go ahead and adapt it from 3/4 to 1/2 inch. We can get this thing off here. And of course the nut went right into the pan. But we got it off. So go ahead and take this gear off. And you gotta be real careful when you do this because there's a washer right behind this gear. So go ahead and slide it off. I'm gonna move the pan in case we drop the washer. It goes on the ground and not in the pan. And slide this off. I think the washer's still in here. There it is. This next part's gonna be really hard for me to record, but you guys are gonna have to come in here and take the retainer out of here. We're gonna work our way around this thing. Hopefully it doesn't pop out at me, but let's see. Kind of see it indexes right about here. One end of it, the other end comes up to right here. We're gonna try and work this out of here by hand. Hopefully it doesn't shoot out and hit me in the face. Zoom out a little bit. Carefully work it loose. Make sure that we pulled the pipes, those 3 pipes that we were talking about earlier. Make sure they're slid out of this unit. Now we can grab onto it and slide this thing out of here. Put this pan underneath it in case it leaks. This thing's being kind of a pain to get out. There you go. That's the compounder. That's what the inside looks like there. No damage in there that I can see. If I go in here and kind of inspect it a little bit, make sure everything looks good. I went on eBay and bought a whole rebuilt unit that I can just slide in here and not have to worry about rebuilding it, taking this thing apart. So after looking at this new compounder again, I realized that you do not have to take the hex bolts out here. So if you see it in the video that I've taken these out, when I go to remove that retainer clip, don't even worry about taking these out. Just take the retainer clip off and this unit will slide out. I apologize, guys. I was not able to record this part, but the new compounder, you're gonna slide it right in. Slide it right in until it'll probably stop on you, and you're gonna have to spin this back and forth. Keep going in and out with the whole unit and then spin this shaft back and forth until it finally slides in. In my case, it slid in and it stopped, and I had to tap all the way around it very carefully with a rubber mallet, very carefully, until it set into place, and now you can see the grooves all the way around where the snap ring goes. So it's flush with those grooves. We can go ahead and put the snap ring in. And then over here, I didn't notice this at first, but on the old compounder, the body actually cracked and is split in half. And there's a ring that's supposed to be inside here, and it's popped out. So that's why that failed. And then this nut here, the part number I have for this nut, 0650 8521 alpha alpha. Should be the right part number. If not, I'll update it in the video. The next thing we're gonna do, and remember, we don't need to worry about these bolts anymore. Get rid of those for the old compounder. We're gonna take our snap ring, pop it back into place. And then after we do that, we'll take our washer. It's just one washer. The washer is gonna sit in here, just like it was before. And then we'll take the gear and put that back on. So there was a lot that I couldn't get on camera there. It was difficult to do while recording, but I couldn't find any torque specs for this. All I did was slide this gear on. It slides right into place. Make sure you have your washer in there before you slide the gear on, and then tighten this down. I mean, just tighten it enough. Tighten it down pretty good. Give it some good ugga-duggas. Get it nice and tight, and then go ahead and notch your spot right there so it's not going to come loose. And we'll go ahead and start putting this thing back together. I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. I think you guys can just kind of figure it out from there. It's reversing everything we just did. Remember, we're going to take our pipes and the 3 little pipes in here, and we're going to make sure that we have them mounted all the way down into the 3 little holes of the compounder before we move forward. So you can kind of see if I can shine a light in there. You might not be able to see it, but when you pull this thing apart and you look down in there, you'll see kind of right there, you can kind of see it now. There are 3 holes that those tubes have to go into. Make sure that those are fully seated in there before you go ahead and put the valve body back on the front. Put some RTV silicone on here. Gotta get it all cleaned up first, but we'll start putting it back together. It's really icy out, but reverse is working perfectly. Before it was really weak, and now it's really strong. You can feel it pulling pretty good. Top the transmission off with fluid, let it run for a while. If you guys don't know, you have to buy the chart online for the transmission fluid. There's a dipstick that you have to buy online. It comes with a chart, and I believe this one is chart C for the 62 TE. Anyway, it's fixed. It's driving normal, and I've already taken it out on the road actually, and it's everything's good. So hopefully this helps somebody.